Lupe Fiasco's 2006 song, Kick Push, is a classic and the first official single of his career, putting him on the map. But this song was never actually meant to be a single. It was never meant to be more than a song made for a skateboarding DVD. Today, we're breaking down Kick Push, the story behind it, recreating the beat from the original sample, analyzing the lyrics, and seeing how this skateboarding DVD song took Lupe Fiasco all the way to the Grammys. To start, we need to talk about where he was before Kick Push. He was in Chicago, but that's not what I mean. Wasalu Jaco, or as he's known by his stage name, Lupe Fiasco, began rapping at a young age, joining a group at age 18 called Deka, which was heavily influenced by gangster rap. They released only one promotional single before disbanding, the song Armpits.
Let me see them armpits. Much steel, dusty ass, shit nasty when you pass me. Let me see them armpits.
Hey yo, hit something, pop something, move something, rock something, spit something, cop something, do something, lock something.
You want your life to lift your arms up, put your palms up, get them guns up.
Let's skip to his verse.
Yo, I pop something, right for a little, drop nothing, unarmed, lights on them pistols, stop fronting while y'all chase birds like Roadrunner for phone numbers. I be in the back with bone crushers and known hustlers, big bill niggas, big deal niggas. One call, you killed. All ill niggas want beef, better be extra sure. My niggas be under your floor, so stay on your toes like pedicures.
Even in his early days, you can tell there's something different about Lupe specifically. And while he loved rapping, this group, Deka, and specifically the subject matter they talked about, wasn't sitting right with him. As Lupe explained, we had a song out about cocaine, guns, and women, and I would go to a record store and look at it and think, what are you doing? I felt like a hypocrite. I was acting like this rapper who would never be judged, and I had to destroy that guy. Because what Lupe Fiasco says on this microphone is going to come back to Wasalu Jaco. When the mic cuts off, you have to go home and live with what you say. We're gonna pause our story right there because I want to jump straight into the music in Kick Push. It's this cinematic sample that's just too good. This Ableton recreation, by the way, if you're on the producer's tier on Patreon, you can go download it right now. This top yellow track, this is Kick Push, but this one directly below it, this is the original sample. It's from a Filipino artist named Celeste Legaspi from 1982. And the song goes on from there, but the section we need is this orange section right here. Producer Soundtrack is also Filipino, with his parents immigrating to the United States just a few years before he was born. He hasn't given interviews about the making of this song, but I would imagine that this record was in his parents' collection. He's now a longtime collaborator with Lupe, and this is one of their earliest songs together. So Soundtrack took this sample and chopped it up a bit. So he's kept this string intro in here, right? But then once we get to the groove, it's a little tricky because of where he has chopped stuff, there's gaps. So if we take the exact hits and place them where they need to be on the grid, this is what it sounds like. Right? But we are missing some stuff in there. So I've added my chops to our drum rack here. Let's see if we can approximate what he did here. And then let's add drums on top of that. I should quantize that, but I just want to listen to it first. You combine these two things together, and the result is this cinematic, catchy, fantastic beat that's just impossible. Second, and say thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Bombas. All right, look, I've done a couple Bombas ads at this point. They keep sending me socks, and I love it because they're the best socks I've ever worn, and because they do one purchased equals one donated. It's right there on the bag, like check that out. They've donated over 150 million items to homeless shelters. It's a win-win. Okay, but here's my problem. My first batch of socks that I got, I specifically got a pair for my wife for Christmas. Thought I was being slick, you know? Like Bombas is paying for my wife's Christmas gift. And then they sent me more, and that time I just got socks for myself. And that it wasn't a good plan on my part. So they just sent me more, and this time I told my wife she can order whatever she wants. We're a Bombas family now. There's no going back. Bombas now offers international shipping to over 200 countries, and with their 100% happiness guarantee, you know you're taken care of. New customers get 20% off their first purchase. Just go to bombas.com/diggingthegrates and use code diggingthegrates at checkout. With Lupe, this song would become Kick Push, a song about two skateboarders who fall in love. This is very different from Lupe's earlier work like we saw on Armpits, but this song was never meant to be a single. Instead, they made it to be included on a skateboarding DVD for a Chicago skate shop called Uprise. That's it. Check it out. Here's Lupe talking about this himself.
When I really did the song as a tribute for a skate shop. It was never supposed to be a single. It was never meant to be a single. It was for a skate shop called Uprise for a skate DVD. And then it just took a life of its own.
So Lupe continued to release music, self-recording demos, and was eventually signed to Arista Records, but was eventually dropped. But during this time, he met Jay-Z, who became a fan of Lupe and would end up playing an important role in his debut album and helped him get a record deal with Atlantic Records. During this time, Lupe remixed the song Diamonds from Sierra Leone by Kanye West, rapping over it and making a new version called Conflict Diamonds. This caught Kanye's attention, and he eventually asked him for a guest verse on Touch the Sky, which was another massive hit.
Yes, guess who's on third? Lupe still like Lupe in the third.
You got Kanye, you got Lupe. This is produced by Just Blaze. That early 2000s era, man. Some magic. Kanye's Late Registration was released in the fall of 2005, and Touch the Sky was released as a single in January of 2006. This was a huge hit, and people were starting to learn more and more about this Lupe Fiasco guy. But
it was like, hey, do we stick? Because my old records was all like hood, street shit. Little blends of this, that, and the third. It definitely wasn't like kick, push, nerdy backpack shit. I have records with like 3 6 Mafia, all type of crazy stuff. It was the decision to be like, yo, what do we want to be? Because now this album's coming out. You're going to be, there's no more artist development. This is going to come out. What's the first thing you want the world to know? Outside of your mixtapes, all these other things. People know you can rap. You got a little buzz here, that. And it was like a choice. Do you make this like hood street music to entertain the hood? Or do you just do something that's just completely out the box? And we had Kick Push versus this other record. I was like, let's Kick Push.
What was the other record?
I can't remember. It was some Hustlers something. Hustlers with a Z.
So the decision was made. Kick Push, the song for the Skate Shop DVD, would be Lupe Fiasco's first solo single. But just because this wasn't originally intended to be a single doesn't mean Lupe didn't give it everything he had. As he said, skate culture is, quote, just as deep as hip-hop. I'm not the greatest skateboarder, but I'm a damn good rapper, so I made a damn good skateboarding song. Let's take a look at his first verse on Kick Push. So I've highlighted all of the rhymes in here, and I want to walk through this just really quickly. First got it when he was 6, didn't know any tricks. Matter of fact, first time he got on it, he slipped. Obviously, we have this, 6 tricks slipped. This is at the end, we got one in the middle. This continues, landed on his hip and busted his lip. For a week, he had to talk with a lisp like this. Here's why I'm obsessed with lisp like this, because right before it, we have lip, which is close to lisp, and we've added an S to the word lip, right? Then we pivot to like, which is similar to lisp, but then we go back to this, which is different than the L sound, but then we're keeping the S that we added from here. Lisp like this. After busted his lip, I love that. And now we have the first interesting sort of story device happen right after this. Now we can end the story right here. He's changed the rhyme scheme right here, and it's gonna rhyme at the end with air. So he's setting up a new rhyme scheme, so he started the story here with all of this rhyme scheme, 6 tricks, hip, etc., right? And then he says, we got the story right here. He's pausing, but Shorty didn't quit. He's hearkening back to this same rhyme scheme. Quit, lisp, this, lip, slipped, trick, 6, hip. He says this is continuing on. It was something in the air. Now we're continuing from here, rhyming with here and air. Let's keep going. Yeah, he said it was something so appealing. He couldn't fight the feeling, something about it. Now, obviously, we have appealing and feeling. I've underlined this because something so appealing and couldn't fight the feeling is a rhythmic rhyme. Is a rhythmic rhyme a term? I don't know. It's rhythmically the same even if just the ends rhyme. And before we go into this super dense part, I want you to notice we have something, something, and something. It happens 3 times. That's not a rhyme, that is just a repeating word, but he's repeating it on purpose. Something in the air, something so appealing, couldn't fight the feeling, something about it. We have 1, 2 somethings, then we have a couldn't, then back to something. Then we have 2 more couldn'ts. Something, something, couldn't, something, couldn't. There's 3 somethings and 3 couldn'ts. This is absolutely intentional. The way that they overlap like this, he's repeating these for emphasis, he's repeating these for emphasis, and they're overlapping like this. Something about it. He knew he couldn't doubt it. Couldn't understand it. I'm running out of room. Brand it. We got a new rhyme scheme. Understand it. Brand it. Since the first kickflip, he landed. So landed, continuing this on. But then kickflip and labeled a misfit. Back to a bandit. So we're doing the same overlap. This was overlapping the words, right? Something, 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 couldn't. But now this is overlapping with orange, orange, lime green, orange, lime green, orange, orange. He's doing the back and forth, not only with the words here, but with the rhyme schemes. Then we have maybe my favorite line in the whole verse, ka-kump, ka-kump, ka-kump. This is, of course, the sound a skateboard makes when you're riding on the sidewalk. If you've ever heard a skateboard before, you know that sound, ka-kump, ka-kump, ka-kump. And if it's not been you on it, and you're not a big skateboard fan, you probably find that sound, ka-kump, 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 annoying. Which, wouldn't you know it, his neighbors couldn't stand it. They couldn't stand the noise, but also were keeping this rhyme scheme going. So he was banished, keeping this rhyme scheme, but now we're establishing a new one, banished to the park. Started in the morning, wouldn't stop till after dark. Now, we are starting to land the plane of the verse. We opened up with some simple stuff right here, had a little overlap. We got into a lot of dense stuff overlapping like this, and now it's starting to lighten up at the end here. The structure of this is incredible. It's not just the direct rhymes. It's the fact that story-wise, he's going with this rhyme scheme. He says, we can end it, or we'll keep going, and I'm gonna throw back to the other rhyme scheme, but we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna give you a bunch to chew on here. All of this overlapping, not only word usage, but rhyming in the middle, overlapping, all of this stuff, incredible. And then at the end, you know, we gotta bring it home. We're gonna lighten it up a little bit. The story is going to continue in the next verse, but let's end on something a little more simple, kind of like the beginning. Lupe has essentially put a 3-act structure in this verse. Unbelievable. I've never done this before, but it felt like it would make sense. I have gone through, and each time that I wrote one of these, I put a little dot here with the according color. Start with this simple yellow. We got 1 rhyme scheme. We get through all of this crazy color stuff right here. Then we end with 2 simple rhymes. Kick Push was released in April of 2006. It hit number 56 on the Billboard rap charts and earned Lupe 2 Grammy nominations. But more than that, it launched his solo career, making a name for himself as a thoughtfully skilled lyricist. All from a song on a Skate Shop DVD. That Skate Shop in Chicago, by the way, Lupe has said that they still have the original CD with this song on it at the store. Speaking of skilled lyricists, Lupe Fiasco is often compared to Kendrick Lamar. And And while they're both incredibly skilled lyricists, I'm not big on comparing and declaring a winner. However, if you want to dive deep on Kendrick, look no further than his Pulitzer Prize-winning album, Damn. It's not only incredible lyrics and music, but the concept behind the whole thing. Well, let me stop myself. That whole video is right here for you to watch.